Start your engine!
Entering its 7th season, the Lapped Traffic Podcast has brought you over 300 shows, driver and media interviews, awesome stories and entertainment, and one of the coolest fantasy leagues around. Get ready for another exciting season. Sit back, relax, and try not to get lapped.
Now, here's your host, the Professor, Brendan Cross.
Oh, what is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Yes, I am your host, the Professor. Welcome to episode 310 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Man, what a couple of weeks. Lots to get into, as per usual. I'm going to first start off with sorry for the off week last week. Things just kind of collapsed. I was in the office an extra day. I was in the office longer than I normally am and just did not have time to try to schedule anything. Lindsay was traveling the weekend before. It was just hectic and chaotic. Totally bummed to miss last week. And, I feel like if I don't have a guest that I shouldn't do a show. And just because, one, I know there's so much content out there, and are you guys really tuning in for me or the guests, which I know it's the guests for the most part, which is totally understandable. I would too. So it's like, well, do I just babble by myself for a half an hour and throw something together? Or do I skip the week and actually try to put out it depends on your point of view, but to what I consider to be quality content with a guest and actually pace out a show and do all of that. So I'm torn on that. If you don't care, let me know. I'd love the feedback on that. Like, yeah, hey, if you don't have a guest, wait till you have one, or dude, just give us 20 minutes. If you can do 20 minutes, I'll come and publish 20 minutes. It's that would be easy. So, anyways, here we are, excited to be back behind the mic. Another busy week. The golf league starts in 2 days, so that's going to be fun, trying to keep everything organized and together with the podcast Tuesdays, golf on Thursday. So, Lindsay and I over the last year and a half really haven't done like a rotating schedule per se with Alden. She'll put him down, I'll put him down, might be back-to-back nights, might not. But with the podcast Tuesdays, golf on Thursdays. Now we're going to try a rotation almost 15 months in to help keep the sanity levels established, if at all possible. So right now, I feel so bad for the little guy. Lindsay took him to the doctor yesterday thinking maybe he had an ear infection because he is not wanting to go to bed and screaming for an hour in the process there. He's waking up in the middle of the night, and the doctor was like, well, no, it's not an ear infection. He just has 6 teeth cutting at the same time, 3 of which are molars. So poor little guy teething up until now. I mean, he's got 6 or 7 already, and it hasn't been that horrible, but it's definitely catching up to him. So that's fun and not tiring at all. But anyways, here we are. Lots to get into. We've got brothers winning at Dover. We can talk a little Martinsville as well, since I missed that. And, last show, Jeff Striegel. Jeff Striegel always delivers. Hope you enjoyed that show. And I know it's been a minute since Aaron and Brian have gotten on for Twitter Spaces. We are definitely going to try to make that happen this week as well. So yeah, just trying to get a lot of chaos organized, which I know you guys probably feel my pain there. So tonight, from the ARCA series, Christian Rose is going to be back. Excited to talk to him. We'll do some recaps from, we'll reset where we're at. I'll give you all my opinion, which means nothing. But hey, here I am anyways. Some social media. Guys, I'm losing followers, which I hate to do. That's depressing. And I've got a prize pack to give away and been trying to. So we got to make a push. Maybe I need to add something to the prize pack to enhance the desirability of a follow from people. So we'll see what I can't do there. We've got catching up with lap traffic with CJ Pearl later in the show with the winner of the Name the segment from the off season. So CJ, actually, I picked his idea. So that'll be cool to have him on. Lap traffic fantasy segment 1. Segment 1's almost over. We've got a survey out there. And then we're going to close it out with the couple guys from the Lap Traffic iRacing League later in the show for their segment 1 winner and second place coming on, talk about their season. So lots to do tonight. Let's get things rolling. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his second appearance on the show. He is the driver of the number 32 West Virginia Tourism Ford with AM Racing. Welcome back to the show, Christian Rose. Christian, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing great. I appreciate it. Just got back from the shop here a little bit ago, and I apologize to any listeners. Our 4-month-old is upstairs having a little bit of a fit trying to go to bed. So
they're used to it with me, with our little
but
one and the 2 dogs. So it's all good, man. So you were on last year, and I remember talking to you about your baseball career, and I'm curious to get a couple takes on you before we get into the NASCAR stuff. Let's have some fun with 2 different topics. One is baseball, and 2, the fact that we're just coming off the NFL draft. I've got a couple draft questions for you. So you played. Yes. All right. So you played college baseball. I got to know, what is your thoughts, takes on the new pitch clock?
So, I mean, originally I was not a fan. I was a pitcher. I had a routine, and mine was one of those longer routines it took. I wanted the batter to sit in the box longer. And a lot of guys in college, they don't step out. And even at the Division I level, they don't step out of the box. Like, you can get a guy to fall asleep at the plate. I think it took that element out. However, I do love the fact that you get one throw over to first base now. You can't just throw it over 15 times. The stolen bases are up. And the game is, honestly, watching it, I didn't think 20 minutes, 15 minutes would make that much of a difference, but it's been nice to put the baby to bed and have a baseball game done and keep up with it. I'm a diehard Orioles fan. So I think it has opened up a way to bring some new fans in, and it's a quicker pace. And I think it provides both ends. You're seeing pitchers do their thing still, and you're also seeing the batters hit more balls into the ballpark and stuff like that. So originally not a big fan, but now the more I've gotten to see it and watch how it's worked, I'm a fan. I just don't like if you go over the ball or strike. I think it should be like if you do it more than 2 times or something, that should be. I don't like it how.
No, man, I'm with you. That's
the only thing I don't like.
Coming from a Detroit Tigers fan, I like the quicker game because they're a struggle to watch. So.
Yeah, I mean. I will say I apologize for what they always did this weekend with y'all. I mean, it was fun to watch. You made it sweat it, though. I'll tell you that.
I tell you, man, we were spoiled for so many years when we had Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, damn, drawing a blank on his name, shortstop, Johnny Peralta. So, I mean, we had a great, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5 lineup, depending on how they structured it, between the couple years with Curtis Granderson that we had. I mean, we got.
Mm-hmm. Well, I go back to the rotation. Scherzer, Price, Zimmerman. I mean, it was a ridiculous rotation.
And the mere fact
Verlander,
we had
crazy.
a number one for all 5 of our rotations and still wasn't able to pull off a World Series because we didn't know how to go and frickin' get a bullpen. I digress on all of that. No frustration here at all, but
I'm with you. You probably won't like to hear it, but my most exciting thing I've ever witnessed in person in baseball,
okay.
I was at the 2014 Game 2 against you guys in Baltimore.
Yeah. And
that's the famous Delman Young ripped the double down the line, cleared the bases. And I remember chirping because we were only a couple rows back. We got, long story, we had tickets for Game 1, didn't have tickets for Game 2. Showed up, they're like, these aren't good. Somebody sold their 4 rows back from the dugout seats for $50 a pop. Got incredibly lucky on that one, but I remember chirping at Cabrera and the stare he gave me. I'll never forget it. Terrified. terrified. See that big of a
Absolutely.
man like just staring you down when you're walking off
And
the field.
I will tell you,
incredible
it's
atmosphere.
it's
Incredible
a
game.
goal of mine to get to an Orioles game because I love Camden Yards. Like I love the the closer in tight ball fields, man. Like I don't even care who it is. My wife, one of her best friends lives in Virginia, and she went and saw them, and we're like, we need something to do. And I said, why? I mean, my wife's been there, and I haven't even been there. Like I am so jealous of that aspect. But one of these, one year.
I can give you all the food recommendations, man. Boog's Barbecue. You can't go wrong with a crab cake sandwich.
Excellent.
Like you want to eat good, you go to Baltimore for a baseball
maybe
game.
the next time I go to Richmond and we can maybe make something happen, you and I can go catch a game.
I would love to.
And when you're in Detroit, we'll go either to a Lions
I
game
haven't been
because
in
I got
years.
season tickets. And yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go. Well, you all beat up on us this year. I won't forget. You took it to us with Washington this year, so that was a frustrating game to watch. But definitely, the baseball side is not great for y'all. But I can promise you, the football side, the draft you guys just had was incredible. I don't think best draft in the entire league. If you ask me.
What a segue! I love that. It's like you do these once in a while. So the draft for me as a Lions fan, I'm at my favorite sports bar. It's tradition to go up there with some buddies for draft night. And I loved when they traded that 6th pick. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Perfect. And then to go and draft the running back, obviously not knowing at the time that they were going to then go and trade DeAndre Swift. I'm like, oh, what are we doing, guys? Come on, but now the way everything played out, we've got cap space still for free agency. We don't have to worry about Aaron Rodgers anymore.
Yep.
Like I'm
nope.
Yes,
the division's yours.
I'm drinking the
yours
Honolulu
to lose,
Blue.
I'll say that. Like as a Washington guy, Kirk Cousins doesn't scare me at all. You guys are fine against the Vikings, and then the Bears, I think, are going to be a lot better than people think. I think Justin Fields is the real deal, and I still think you guys are all together.
I love the
fully
confidence
better
coming
built
from
roster,
outside
for sure.
the conference, if you will. But that leads me.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the way you guys did against Green Bay, I mean, to finish that tells me all the character that Campbell brings as a coach. To not back down and be like, all right, we're not in, y'all aren't in either. I love that.
So speaking of the draft and coming off that, have some fun with a topic in terms of, as a NASCAR driver, someone well within the sport, do you feel that NASCAR could implement a draft in some fashion, either from a pit crew selection perspective, a driver perspective in some of the developmental series, ARCA, for example, truck series, any way that you could see that working, if they were to implement some form of a cap for teams, how could you see that maybe playing out?
I think, trying to gather my thoughts on it. I think right now what NASCAR's done with the next gen, although I'm not the biggest fan of the product of the race car, it has narrowed the competition gap and it's done what they wanted to do. So I think that is a A+ home run on that side. What I think you could see is do something like the Dash for Cash and Xfinity series and do a draft at the start of the year. These drivers are qualified the first 4, the next 4, and do like a bracket, kind of like Denny Hamlin, I think had mentioned this. I think it would be a phenomenal thing to do a bracket and then do like $1 million prize or something that's through the sponsors for that driver that were to win it. I think you'll get some upsets. I think you'll see some wild stuff happen at Daytona and Talladega to get a driver move on that you wouldn't expect. And maybe there's some playoff ramifications to it. Maybe there's some bonus points awarded to whoever finishes in the top 3 or something like that. I think that would be a cool thing to do.
Pit crew side? I mean, that's where I could really see it working. And that's also to where I could see extra content being made available to where a lot of the pit crew guys are former college athletes to where, let's give them a combine type atmosphere to go perform, show off skills, give it as a opportunity for the fans to go get up close, personal drivers, teams, pit crews. I mean, I see that being potential. Like, hey, this, you've got your rankings of your fastest, left front tire changer and, who gets the crack at him first. I mean, that adds extra value, I feel.
Yeah. I think the way that they could approach that, and it would be a really cool thing, is you have the Rule 5 draft in baseball, right? Somebody that's on the minor league system. So you do a combine. I love the combine idea for that standpoint, but also do a salary cap. Teams can only spend so much on per pit crew guy or member of the team. So that would allow, Hendrick or Penske and these guys to have the best of the best. It would allow those guys to not maybe hire all 6 or 7 guys. They could only hire 4 of those guys. And you got those 2 guys that are left out end up at a JTG or something like that. I think that would be something to see that would, couldn't mix up. And that's going to affect races, whether people want to look at it or not. It's a team atmosphere. That's how AM approaches it. And it's the big team motto. And that's what it is. I mean, it is a team deal. You win as a team, you lose as a team. And those guys are going to affect performance on and off the racetrack. You could even go as far as,
the 16th place, talking from the Cup side, 16 guys make the playoffs. Whoever finishes 16th, they get the first pick of the draft from the pit crew perspective, and then you could do a separate one for, 20th or 17th on back. I mean, there's so many potentials I could see with that.
I love it. I love it. You can maybe mix crew chiefs in there too. You know what I mean? Like find a way to, have first bid at a crew chief if you fall in the right standings or something like that. And if you meet their contract, that it's up to them. I could see a way of really entertaining a different kind of platform on that. I think it would be a very interesting deal to work through. I would be for it. I mean, obviously if I was Joey Logano or somebody, I probably wouldn't be the biggest fan of it, losing my guys, but from a fan perspective, outside of the being involved in it on the competition side, I think that would be phenomenal. That
you and Lap Traffic have the end all be all as far as saving the sport.
I got a feeling the big guys up top are not
go talk to Crawl
that, so.
And just tell him that we talked and we'll get it all squared away. Oh man, see, that was fun. See. Man, that's why I love it. All right, let's talk a little ARCA. ARCA series, kind of a funky start. there's only been 3 races to the season that have stretched from February at Daytona to mid-April, basically. 3 of those races were at 2 super speedways. You got a 12th place to open, wrecked at Phoenix, 17th at Daytona. Talk about where you guys are at, right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we obviously would want that to be a little different. Daytona, we had a heck of a race car. We did at Talladega, too. We led last at Daytona. Dream come true for myself, playing my last collegiate baseball game across the street, and that being the place I went as a kid to see the races. So really, really cool moment to get out front and pace the field there. That was a storybook moment for us. We got stepped behind. We got our nose knocked in, and the ductwork knocked up. And my team, AM, I mean, they're phenomenal. They did a great job. We could have panicked and easily DNF'd. We were pushing 280 oil, water. The gauges were pegged all around. So we pitted 5 times, got it right. And that kind of played into our strategy to where it kind of got us all set. And we were hoping for the big wreck, and just it didn't happen. It did, but it just didn't happen, if that makes sense. We were banging off each other a lot. That could have caused some issues. So all in all, Daytona was great for us. Phoenix, we struggled off the truck. We had the car turning really, really good. Just too good. And that's something, it was the first race I've had with these guys that wasn't a super speedway, and the first how they know I like a race car and how they want their car. So we got it right. At the end of the race, we were pacing top 5 lap times. So we drove ourselves back on the lead lap. We were in position to come out of there with a top 10. I think we had passed Treble Huddleston for the lead lap, or they get the lucky dog, and he went on to finish the thing like 8th. So it's frustrating to know that we could have come out of there with anywhere from a 5th to 8th place position in that race. Just got caught up in the racing mess, and that's part of it. So, and then we went to Talladega, and we had a part failure. But once again, team did a great job. They diagnosed it. We had a fuel pump issue that failed, and it just the regulator didn't work, and we were done. Like we were black flagged coming to the break because we couldn't meet speed. So they got it right. They got it bypassed, and we ended up coming out with a 17th when we could have come out with 34th place points. So fortunately, we're where we're at. If things would have gone the way they could have at Phoenix and Talladega, there's no reason we wouldn't be second in the points and a handful of points out of it. So that gives me confidence knowing that we have the speed and we are going to bring that forward and fix those mistakes. It just hasn't played in our favor yet, but all averages,
7th in the standings, 25 points back. I mean, that's doable. I mean, that's That's nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
It is. It's 2 points a race. 2 points a race. That's the motto. It's very doable for us. So we know where we're at. We're 3 in, and there's
Awesome.
17 to go, and there's a lot that's going to happen.
Kansas, Charlotte, Berlin on the docket over the next couple of weeks. Berlin, obviously, my home state, Michigan. I'm excited to get there in August for the SRX series. Which one are you excited to? Which one are you not so excited to? What are you looking forward to as the ARCA series kicks up into more of a full gear, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, the intermediate stuff I've had circled since last year. Our best race altogether, we were 4th place pace-wise, Kansas in the fall last year. We finished 7th, but we gambled on leaving an extra set of tires in the pits if a caution came out, and we got that caution a lap after we went a lap down. So went from where we could have won the race on tires to we finished 7th. But speed-wise, we were a 4th place car. So the intermediate stuff, Pocono was a great track for us. Charlotte was too. We just had failures of both of those. We hit a wheel weight at Charlotte, ended our race, blew the motor, and we had an oil line fail at Pocono when we started 28th and drove up to 8th. So, I mean, those are places that I'm very much looking forward to. Kansas, especially with the test day coming in on Friday, 5 hours of practice for us. We're bringing a brand new bullet. So I'm very excited about the opportunity we're going to have at Kansas. The one that, short track racing has not really been my forte. It's something I'm still working on my craft on trying to figure out, how much brake to use. I will overbrake a car and I'll underbrake it. And it's trying to figure that out. And I know once that light bulb flips that, we'll be all right. And it's not like we're horrible. We just haven't been great. And that's going to be taking that next step. So Berlin's something I think is going to fit in our wheelhouse. I've run Florence a lot. That was one of my favorite tracks with the late model. And it runs kind of the same style without having a wall and a backstretch and the power we have. I'm not sure running it wide open there is the best thing. You know what I mean? So I think we're going to be very good at that. And then obviously Kevin Sawinski and AM, their home track is Elko. So they won with Gustine a couple years ago with that deal. So the next 4 or 5 races coming, awesome. I'm very much. So
yeah, I mean, 5-hour practice, right? That's a long time. That gives you guys a lot of opportunity to test different race trims, different qualifying runs, all that kind of stuff. Not even just for Kansas, but for the other intermediate tracks on the rest of the schedule. With that type of a practice, do you guys have a game plan in terms of, I mean, you're not going to be out on the track the whole 5 hours, so will they make some pretty big swings in terms of readjusting the car in the garage and getting things set up for you for different, types of testing?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to go with the approach. Let's see what we got first off the truck. It's a brand new car. Let's go feel it out. Let's make sure, everything's right. And then obviously as we get into it, seeing where we're at on a 10 lap run, seeing where we're at on a 15 lap run, working the second and third grooves to see what our car does up there. Really hitting a little bit of everything. And really, I think tuning into the afternoon time. We know we're going to go green in the afternoon, so it gives us a great opportunity to really what race conditions are going to be like come Saturday. We qualify, I think, at 9 in the morning. So if your car is good, then sure. You should be able to hold the thing pretty close to wide open all the way around, if not wide open. So basically get it very drivable for us. We're obviously want speed out of it, but I mean, we're looking more towards the driver comfort kind of side of things, making sure that the car's going to do what I want it to do and know what it's going to do. And if we get that figured out, then we can go into qualifying.
Is there a limit of tires that you guys can go through on that type of a test day?
I don't know that. I know. Okay. At least 2 sets, I believe. I don't know how many we're going to go. So it's going to come down to management on that side, too. How many laps we put on it. Obviously, tire wear, too. We're going to be on a green racetrack, and I think it's calling for some rain. So, trying to make sure where the tire wear is at and see where we're going to be. 'Cause like I said, it's calling for rain overnight. And if it washes the track off and makes it a green racetrack on Saturday, we'll have a good baseline because we're going to fire off and be the first cars on the racetrack, too. So all those notes go a long way into making sure we're prepped and ready for racing. I want to talk about your sponsor,
and I know we talked about this last time. And I know they're a newer sponsor to the sport, West Virginia Tourism. I think that's awesome. Obviously, they're happy because they're back. And I think that is just a golden opportunity for any state to hop on board and to not be short-sighted and just do it for the race that's in that state, because obviously people already know about that there. It's having a state advertise their tourism out beyond the boundaries of the state and the home race track, so that it gives people the want and the, oh, hey, maybe I'll go check them out while I'm at X race and go to this race, So talk about that's just a great, sponsorship, I feel like. So talk a little bit about how you guys developed a partnership and how that's worked for you guys.
Yeah, basically the best way to put it's been a dream deal, right? I'm from West Virginia. I love where I'm from. I'm proud to say where I'm from, and I always will be. And the people in our state are too. And wherever we go, we run into people everywhere from the state that want a part of coming up and just telling us where they're from. One of the EMS workers at the track at Talladega came to us, and we were talking high school football. Their team used to coach there, and we were talking about the players we had when I was there and then the guys they had. And so, it's a small world where you run into people from West Virginia. So it's been phenomenal. Our tourism numbers are the highest they've ever been from last year. So to see those numbers and know that we did a little tiny part of that, I don't know how much credit we can take of it, but I know we didn't hurt it. And that's a good thing for us. And seeing those numbers is phenomenal for our state. So we get to share our story and share why you need to come check us out. The state has everything you can offer. Anything from rafting
golf
to resorts to off-roading, Hatfield McCoy Trail, golf. You can go down the list. There's literally everything you can think of. And we like to consider ourselves one of the hidden gems in the United States, because there are places that people haven't heard of. And that's what we're trying to do with this partnership, is to share that and also bring business to West Virginia. We're in talks with some companies to try to bring them to the state. And that's all in all, when you partner with us, it's not a one-way street of advertising. We're trying to go the long route for you to bring business back and do that stuff too. And we've been fortunate enough in the success we've had with West Virginia to bring a company called Secure Testing Services on. They are a drug testing on-site company. They are phenomenal. Steve Pearson and everybody that runs that company has become family and friends more than anything. And to give you a story about them, they flew my baby and my wife out to Phoenix and surprised me. So that is something that will go a lifetime for us. And knowing that I had the pictures of my son at 8 weeks at the racetrack, and it's all due to them and what they do. And they do the same thing with their employees. So if there's anybody out there listening to this that is looking at, owns a company or needs on-site drug testing, reach out to them. They are phenomenal and they will work with you. And then we also have the Disability Opportunity Fund that came on for us. They're phenomenal. We're launching an initiative here in the coming weeks. It's going to be a massive giveaway. Something bigger that you would see probably on the higher tiers. And we are so proud and excited to be a part of it. And they have ties to West Virginia as well. So just an incredible group of partners. And obviously AM Racing has given us the platform to help the business side for those guys. And then to allow our partners to be part of it, not just a sponsor, but to be part of the race team. And it's been a phenomenal outlet. So just a very blessed. I believe in God and I believe in a greater plan for everything. And I can promise you I'm living proof of that, because there's no reason we should be where we're at right now. 3 years ago, I would have laughed at you if you had told me this is where we'd be at. So awesome, just a very blessed man to have this opportunity. I
absolutely love stories like that. That's so cool. Listen, man, where can everybody follow you? And if you know the sponsors' handles, all that good stuff.
Yeah, our pages are very simple. It's Christian Rose Racing. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, obviously our website, and we are selling T-shirts and gear finally. We've been getting a lot of requests, so go check our store out. And then West Virginia Tourism, you can follow them on every platform from YouTube to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's there. So same thing for Secure Testing Services, and DOF, I believe, is about to launch their Facebook platform for our giveaway. So be sure to check them all out. Let them know we sent you. And you guys do a huge part in helping us promote our sponsors. So we're very appreciative of that.
And thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast. I'm sorry I kept you a little long there, but I had fun with the baseball and football talk there. Man. I joke with my wife, like if I had the time, I would do a whole separate podcast talking about smoking meat and wrestling and football, and she just gives me that evil death stare. So I haven't started.
I love it. That's I'm a newly married man, and I can promise you, my wife gets so annoyed sitting on the couch while I'm trying to talk sports to her, and she's like, right. "Is this what you want to talk about?" I'm like, "Okay, well, at least I have an outlet with you I can do that with." So. We are some cool bits too. I think you'll find awesome is that we're going to throw a first pitch for the Cleveland Guardians for the week of Mid-Ohio. that's the new stadium for us. We're also doing a minor league tour for some stadiums. So we're looking at onto that and keep that wave going. But always love talking sports, and I'm finally able, as a proud Orioles fan, to support my guys publicly for the first time in 6 or 7 years. So the grind was hard for 7 years to be a fan, but now it's back, and it's beautiful to see them doing what they're doing, and to see the Yankees in last place of the AL East. Never in my lifetime I've seen it. I'm a happy
hang on
man
the
about
line
that,
just a second. Lap Traffic Nation, huge thanks to Christian Rose for calling in. Listen, brother, it's great to catch up with you, and hopefully we'll do this again before the season's over. Thanks.
Absolutely. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Oh, Lap Traffic Nation, there you have Christian Rose. What a great interview. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We talked about everything and made it full circle and wrapped in NASCAR to everything that we talked about, which is just awesome. Great interview there. Had a blast there. All right. Let's keep things rolling. Let's talk some racing from this past weekend. I mentioned at the start of the show since Martinsville, but I did do a show after Martinsville. I didn't do a show after Talladega. So, I mean, here's what I want to do is not so much focus on this weekend's past things, but more on the storylines coming out of this weekend, as well as where we're sitting at from a points perspective. Haven't done a points reset in a minute, so I thought that would be fun. So looking over in the Xfinity Series, I mean, the story of the day, obviously, Ryan Truex Jr. going out there, putting on a clinic and leading 124 of 200 laps and winning both stages and the race. I mean, just, is it out of nowhere? Is it not out of nowhere? I mean, Ryan Truex has been around in the Truck Series. I believe he's got a win in the Truck Series. First win in the Xfinity Series, and to do so in such dominating fashion. Followed by the regular players, Josh Berry, Allgaier, Austin Hill, John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, that's who we've been talking about this year, right? Like that's where we're at, and that's how they finish. So looking at the playoff potentials, the standings, I mean, we're almost halfway through the regular season of both series. So, Austin Hill obviously up there, John Hunter Nemechek up there. Who's not up there, and what surprises, if any, are there? And to me, there really isn't any. I mean, you've got Brandon Jones in 12th. You've got Jeb Burton 13th with a race win, so that knocks somebody out potentially if he's not able to climb up from a points perspective, but he's only 10 points back. So, Jeb could very well potentially make his way to the top 12 here before things are all said and done. You got Parker Kligerman in 13th, Ryan Sieg, Brett Moffitt. That's maybe a little surprise. Maybe thought Brett might be a little bit higher up there. You got Ryan Truex now with a win, but only 5 starts. But he's sitting 18th in the standings. I think the big one would be from Jeremy Clements, who was on the show a couple weeks ago. Will he be able to go out there, get either another road course win potentially to put him into the playoffs? Could he point his way up to the playoffs? Right now we're looking at almost 100-point differential between 12th place Brandon Jones and Jeremy Clements in 20th, So those are some of the stories that we're going to be looking at and watching, not just me here on the show, but us as fans as we get into the summer months and the second portion of the regular season, which is just a couple weeks away here. So there's that. Xfinity Series is off this week. They'll be back at Darlington. Trucks are back this week. So we got Trucks and Cup, which is pretty cool at Kansas. Trucks put on a pretty decent show at Kansas. And be curious to see what the Cup cars do going back to 1.5 miles. It feels like it's been forever since we've been at 1.5 miles. We had Las Vegas. What other 1.5 miles have we had out there? Atlanta, but man, Atlanta's not the Atlanta that we're used to. And that's really it. It's been such an eclectic season. I've talked about it at length, and it blows my mind how crazy that is. So this is only, like I said, you take out Atlanta, this is really only our second 1.5 mile race coming up. here at Kansas. So we'll see what that brings us. Okay, this past weekend, from the Cup side of things, Monday afternoon, Martin Truex Jr. picking it up. I mean, that's just a great story, right? I mean, brothers winning respective series. That's just sweet. When we look at the standings, though, we're 11 races in, 8 different winners. Last year at this point, we had 10 different winners. So not too far off, pretty solid from that regard, with a bunch of guys, obviously, that we would still expect to get wins. Ross Chastain doesn't have a win. More on Ross in a minute. Harvick doesn't have a win yet. Very consistent for him so far this year compared to where he was at this point in time last year. Blaney's still winless. Hamlin's still winless. Keselowski winless. Do we expect Keselowski to have a win though? That's the question. They are definitely turning it around over there. I think at this point last year, they were not even in the top 15 or 16. And here they are, top 10. That's pretty impressive. Now, who's outside the top 16 that may be a surprise? Is there one to you? When I look at it, Suarez, I expect him to be in there before it's all said and done. Ty Gibbs is sitting there in 18th. Not too bad. I wouldn't be surprised Ty picks up a win and maybe makes the playoffs. Here's the one surprise, potentially, Austin Cindric in 19th. Michael McDowell in 20th, Bubba Wallace 21st. The big surprises, maybe Eric Almirola 25th. I mean, way out there. And then you've got Colleague Racing 26th with Justin Haley, 27th with AJ Allmendinger. Obviously, Chase Elliott's out. Austin Dillon is out. But it is what it is there from some of the expectations versus what isn't expected. I would say I'm surprised with Colleague. Not that I would expect them both or one of them to be inside the top 16. But I expect them a little higher on the point standings, to be honest. AJ first year back full-time Cup side of things. Get that one. Haley second year, still young driver developing, but a ton of experience between both those. I expect them to move up in the point standings. We'll either get a win. I mean, hey, either one could pull one off at a road course, a super speedway. So those are some of the stories that I'll be looking at there. Now, let's talk about Ross Chastain. It seems like it is inevitable that after a race, Ross is going to get out of the car and go, "Oh, my bad." Now, I've gone on record multiple times, and I'm not coming off the record, but I'm still on it. I like Ross Chastain. I like all the adversity that he has overcome. I like his style to a degree. I think he is great for the sport, and, fans don't like him anymore. And there's reasons behind that. So, he obviously still has a fan base. And I think that's a good thing. I wonder if part of it is he is and driving the way he is just because of what he has had to go through, from losing a full-time, fully funded Xfinity ride to not having one, and then having to battle back, and to then get the full-time Cup ride, and then to get the wins. And, when Ross was picking up his first couple wins, he still had a pretty solid bandwagon. Now, not so much. And, I think part of it is because it sounds like the same old song and dance week after week. And I think people and drivers are getting a little tired of that. And the crazy thing, though, is that he's still able to finish at the top. He finished second. And one of these days, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's definitely some payback headed his way, whether that's justified, not justified, that's all opinion-based stuff there. And curious to see how that all unfolds as we dive deeper into this 2023 NASCAR season. So, didn't have a question. Well, I have many questions for you guys, of course. I didn't put one out just because of the fact that we ran Monday, didn't know the responses I would get, and putting the show together here, recording a little bit on Monday, a little bit on Tuesday. So we will hopefully get back to some follower questions and all that good stuff next week after Kansas, as that is the plan there. All right, let's keep things rolling. Let's do a little Lap Traffic social media. Everybody make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all at Lap Traffic PC. If you've made it this far into the show, please leave me a review. 5 stars, of course, on whatever platform it is you're listening to. Don't forget, I've got stickers and koozies for free to send out to you guys. All you got to do is get a hold of me. You can fill out the contact page on the website. You can shoot me a DM. Happy to send out some koozies and stickers to anybody that wants them. As I mentioned at the start of the show, we've got the giveaway still trying to hit 7,100 followers there. Some new follower shout-outs. William Eaton at William247818, a NASCAR Byron Busch fan. Randall Reffett at Zin Will Win, race car fan from Indiana. Welcome to the show, guys. Tell your friends. And yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's do some catching up with Lap Traffic. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, it is time for this week's Catching Up with Lap Traffic, the 7th or 8th installment, I believe. And joining me on the line, freshly home from his trip to Dover, as well as I mentioned at the start of the show, the winner of the Name This segment back in the off season. Welcome back to the show, CJ LaPearl. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm just a little tired from my trip home yesterday, but doing good.
Excellent, man. So how long of a drive for you normally?
So it's about 5.5, 6 hours down. I live in Massachusetts, so to get down to Delaware, it takes about 5.5, 6 hours.
Okay. Where'd you stay?
We stayed in Milford, which is about, I think, a town or two south of Dover. It's like 20 minutes from the track.
Okay.
So it wasn't too bad.
All right. I mean, I know the weather kind of played a role in terms of what you may either have experienced traffic-wise or, people-wise. Normally if you were to stay there, weather not a factor. Is it pretty easy getting in and out of there, Friday, Saturday, a race weekend too?
Yeah, no, Saturday was nice and easy getting in and out of the track. And actually, we drove down Friday and we didn't hit rain until we got into Philadelphia because we stopped and got cheesesteaks at that, it's like Pat's and Gino's. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's across the street. You see it on all the Food Channel stuff, but we stopped down there. And it rained, and then it didn't stop raining until Saturday morning. It let up for the race magically, and then it rained again for 20 hours. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was weird.
I feel like it's been raining nonstop for 9 days here in Metro Detroit, and it's just like, dude, can we catch a break here? But to be fair, I mean, this was, if memory serves correct, this is the first race that was impacted by weather to where it was moved to the next day, right? This year.
This year, I believe, yeah. And when I wanted to go to the track this year, me and my brother, we picked out Dover. We wanted to go there. And I looked and I said, you know what? That was a Monday race last year. I said, what are the chances 2 years in a row happening?
Pretty good, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Too bad that wasn't a prop bet at the casino there on the track, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez.
So, all right. What did you get to do? Did you do anything, around the area or anything by the hotel or anything like that while it was? Yeah.
So we had ate up some good restaurants, a couple seafood places. I had the best fried seafood I probably had in my life.
Excellent.
Down there at Meeting Seafood. We actually saw a couple NASCAR officials there. They were eating dinner next to us on Friday night. Then we had this barbecue place, Mission Barbecue. It's a family-owned little operation down. It was phenomenal barbecue. I was very shocked. And then Sunday, actually, we had just gotten to the track. We got, filled up the coolers with ice just in case on Sunday. We knew pretty much it was going to rain out, but
sure.
When it did get rained out at 10:30, we actually had to change hotels. I didn't book the hotel all the way to the Monday, and then we got there Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, I said, all right. I went into the hotel, checked, and I said, hey, can I add an extra night? They're like, oh, we're sold out. Like, oh, awesome. So we booked a different hotel actually in Dover, so it's close to the track. But we had that gap between 11 a.m. of checkout time and 3:30 p.m. of check-in time at the new hotel. And so we ended up going to the right on the Dover Air Force Base. They have a air museum, and if you like anything World War II, I would 100% recommend going down there and going in there. It was amazing. We got to go inside of an old bomber. The tour guides there are just outstanding, and obviously I bet you they had a couple hundred people come from the track, when it got rained out and went there, and they knew they expected it, and they had plenty of staff. It was awesome.
That's very cool. See, that's the kind of stuff that you don't, ordinarily hear about. So that's cool. What about the track? Did track do anything cool for race weekend, music wise, entertainment wise, anything like that?
So they were supposed to, but a lot of it got canceled and rained out because a lot of it was on Sunday and then Saturday night. And I know some weather moved in on Saturday. They did have a AC/DC tribute band, but we ended up getting out of there. It was a long day Saturday, but I know if a lot of the campers went. There was a lot of people there. I can't believe how many people stayed for the Monday race.
Okay, all right. I have to do a complete side story here. I hope you get a kick out of it because I have to share it. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show or not. Just because you mentioned AC/DC, I absolutely love AC/DC. And my wife and I were on our first little weekend vacation thing when we were dating. So we're going back. This is probably 2008, right? And we go to Toronto. We take the train, so we drive across the bridge in Metro Detroit over to Windsor, and we take the train from Windsor to Toronto. And we're there, and I didn't realize this, but AC/DC was performing at the venue in Toronto while we were there. And my wife saw that on their Toronto Broadway that Dirty Dancing was performing. So guess what we saw while we were in Toronto?
No. Oh, no.
We saw Dirty Dancing.
You definitely saw Dirty Dancing.
We definitely saw Dirty Dancing. Now, Brandon did get his redemption and payback when almost 10 years later, AC/DC did a concert in Detroit, Ford Field, and you bet your ass I dragged Lindsay to that dance.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's too funny. Oh, man.
And I tell you what, my ears hurt more after that AC/DC concert than after any NASCAR race.
I can imagine. Yeah, no, I've never got the chance to go to one, but I can imagine it's quite loud.
Yes. All right. So back to the racing part. What'd you think of was that your first time to Dover?
Yes, first time to Dover. And
okay. So what'd you think of the track facility itself?
I loved it. The only thing is I'm assuming it had something to do with, the race being moved from Sunday to Monday. I'm assuming, their employees probably have to go to their regular jobs on Monday. So They were I'm sure no fault of their own. They were extremely short staffed. The concessions, they had, 8 windows for the concessions and 2 of them were open. So there was long lines for concessions all day.
Okay.
Long lines getting in. I know a lot of people missed the invocation and the flyover and the start of the race because it was tough, but you could tell it was all hands on deck. They had the president of New Hampshire Motor Speedway, which is my home track. They had him scanning tickets for people to get in.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, I'm sure a lot of people had to go to work on Monday, but the facility itself, it's great. The bathrooms I've never seen bathrooms at a place like that so clean. It shocked me on it. Yeah,
awesome.
it was wild because I don't know if you've ever been to New Hampshire.
No.
It's old trough style, some of the bathrooms.
All right.
It's a little dungy. But that's New Hampshire for you. But no, Dover was great. I would definitely go again. I would recommend anybody going there. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's a great track.
It's on the list.
That's cool.
That, talking about, getting in and all that kind of stuff. And you never know how many people to anticipate showing up, right? And there was a solid crowd there on Monday. So yeah, hopefully everybody understood and was patient, but that's a bummer, but totally understand that. All right. Now, how about the racing itself? What'd you think of the Xfinity and Cup races?
I thought they were both great. The Saturday, the Xfinity, Ryan Truex, since they both won.
Yeah.
Ryan he dominated that thing. It wasn't even close. And I said to my brother at the end of their stage 2, I was like, this kid's going to win by 12 seconds. And
right.
He just dominated all day long. It was incredible to see, especially the fact that he had never won and he
Absolutely.
just dominated.
Yeah. Kind of come out of nowhere for that race, right?
Yeah. Yep. And then Sunday, the racing Sunday was awesome. The first stage. After the first stage, I thought we were going to be there well into the evening because that first stage felt like it took an hour and a half. And I don't know what the exact time was, but it took a while with the different incidences and the competition caution. It seemed like it took a while. But then after that, it was a bunch of green flag runs, and my brother's a huge Truex fan, so he got to see his driver win for the first time. So that was cool.
Very cool. Very cool there. What's your next race?
New Hampshire. So in July.
Okay, cool.
I'll be going to both days in New Hampshire.
Excellent.
It's only about an hour and a half ride for me, so it's not too bad.
Much more manageable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll get you back on there. Real quick, since I know you're also in the Lap Traffic Fantasy League, did you see the survey link and did you vote?
I did see the survey link. I have not voted yet.
Right.
I think I'm going to lean towards probably leaving it alone just because I don't want to be like NASCAR and have you change the rules midway through the season.
Fair enough. I'll tell you what, it's very close. I mean, I would have thought people would have ran away with making the change, but I mean, there's only 2 votes. Well, yeah, there's only a couple. It's only a couple votes off. So yeah, make sure you vote. It definitely is not a runaway by any stretch of the imagination. So
yeah, no, I'll definitely have to put my vote in.
Excellent. Good deal. Well, man, listen, thank you so much for taking some time out and calling in. Glad you enjoyed your race weekend there, and look forward to talking with you soon, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, man. We'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic. Let's do some Lap Traffic Fantasy. Just a reminder to get your picks in by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Check the website if you need to see who you have left as far as driver picks are concerned for segment 1. We've only got 2 more race weekends, kind of 2.5 depending on how you want to call it, because the truck race at North Wilkesboro will count towards segment 1. So that will officially close out segment 1 there. So we got that going on, as well as I sent out in this week's email a survey to go and check out, because I've gotten some feedback with regards to John Hunter Nemechek and Ty Majeski, and some people have suggested that we limit their picks for the rest of the season, which I'm okay with, but hey, whatever the league wants is what I'm good with. So there's a 1-question survey. Click the link. It'll take you 2 seconds. Let me know your thoughts, and that'll close this week on Thursday when picks are due, and we'll go with league majority there. So there's that. However, joining me on the line right now, one of the guys that had one of the higher scores this week, back second time this year, it's Chad Harrington. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, man, I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on last minute here. It's always interesting to see what I'm able to piece together from a show perspective when it's a Monday afternoon race. Did you get to take any of the race in?
Yeah, I actually was. I was lucky enough to be able to watch the vast majority of the race today.
Excellent. Yeah, I had it on one computer screen. I'm not even going to lie about the situation.
Yeah, same here. I was kind of had like spreadsheets up on one computer and then the race on the other.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Not at all. What'd you think? I mean, drama is, each race, the 1 car comes up, the 5 car comes up. Like, I mean, we can't just have a normal race weekend.
No, it seems like it's every week. Unfortunately, it seems like it's every week that Chastain gets into some sort of mess. But, for him to still be around at the end of the race with Larson rolling around out there 30 laps down, I really thought Larson was going to play more of a factor in that ending. But I guess he did kind of throw a little bit of a block to Chastain there late in the race. But
yeah, it's crazy how, he's still there. Like you would think with the quote-unquote enemies he's making supposedly out there on the track, that he wouldn't be there to the end. But, he's making, if we want to call them, questionable moves, and, still there at the end, like you said, second place finish. I mean, he's getting away with it if he's, and that's all on your, people's opinions on if you feel he's doing something wrong. If you don't feel he's doing something wrong, then, there's no conversation to be had. But for those out there that feel he's doing something wrong, that's where the debate then comes into play.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on the limiting driver picks for segment 2 and 3 for John Hunter and Ty Majeski? Should we keep it as is since we're already underway, or are you in favor of the limits?
Oh man, that's kind of tough for me because I've kind of taken advantage of John Hunter being able to pick him as much as I can. Cause,
sure.
He's run so well this year, but by the same token, he's been kind of up and down.
Yep.
Some races he'll do fantastic, and other races he's kind of lower half of the top 10 and not really getting as many points as some other guys like Barry and Allgaier may have gotten.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I could see either way, I guess. I'm not gonna lie, I voted no in the poll.
Hey,
but
nothing wrong with that. I'll be honest. When I looked a few minutes ago, it was one vote off for yes to no. So it's very close. Granted, I just sent that out a few minutes ago, but some votes already started coming in. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, man. Well, let's do a quick rundown of the standings here. Let's recap our picks first. I took Allgaier and Kyle Busch, who did not favor very well for me. But, there's that. But you took Byron and Barry and cleaned up pretty well this week. So nice job there. And we got our top 10 right now, again, with 2 races to go, or 2 more race weeks to go. In segment 1, we got Henry Fletcher in first. He's cracked the 4 digits. He's at 1,015. Andrew Yu is in second with 992. John Entwistle in third, 985. Matt Dombrowski in fourth with 974. Chad, you are in fifth with 957. Benton Wilson in sixth, 955. GR is in 7th with 951. Eldon in 8th with 945. Steven is in 9th with 939. And JW is in 10th, along with Jonathan Lilly with 934. So it is close. I dropped a little bit. I fell outside of the top 10. I am in 13th this week. So I'll take that. It's much better than where I was at 7 races ago. So I will roll with that. Chad, what do you say? You ready to make some picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we are headed to the Midwest, back out to Kansas, where Bubba picked up the win in the fall, and Kurt Busch picked up his final win of his career last spring at Kansas. Toyota has dominated Kansas the last year with a 1-2-3 finish in the fall and 4 in the top 5 in the spring race. So Toyota looks like a solid pick this week, especially for the Cup side of it. With just 2 races to go in segment 1, who can make a final push for the segment 1 winner and lock themselves into the playoffs? We will find out this weekend, but first it is time for our picks. All right, Chad, Truck Series, who you going with?
Well, we actually just kind of mentioned him talking about the new rule that we may end up implementing. I'm going to go with Ty Majeski.
Ty Majeski. All right, fair enough. I still have a Zane Smith pick left, and that's who I will be going with. So I'm going to go with 38 Zane Smith. And Cup side, sir, who do you have for Kansas?
Well, I think it's going to be three in a row for the 45 at Kansas. I think it's going to be Reddick.
Excellent. Yes, some nostalgia there for sure if he's able to get it done there. I am going to go with the Toyota Trends, and I am going to go with the 20 of Christopher Bell this weekend at Kansas. So there you have it. Chad, thanks so much for calling into the show. Appreciate you. Best of luck the rest of the season, and sounds like we might be talking to you again at some point.
Yeah, man, I sure would hope so. It's been fun, and so far been successful. I'd like to keep that up.
Doing pretty good, man. Nothing wrong with that. Keep it going.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, man. We'll see you. Take care.
All right.
Bye. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, we'll close this thing out now with two guys on the line who finished 1-2 in the Lapped Traffic Podcast Racing League, hosted by Bobby Peters. Bobby is the segment 1 champion, with Adam close behind him. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good.
Excellent. Welcome to the show. All right, let's see here. Bobby, I know you've been on before, so I know you've recapped your iRacing career. Adam, how long you been doing this?
I think it was like 2-3 months before COVID shut down. I started it.
Okay.
Just before the code, people could say, "Oh no, you're only doing this because of the code." Yeah. No, I started doing it before.
Excellent. What you got a rig set up, or you just got the steering wheel attached to a computer table kind of thing?
No, the steering wheel attached to the computer table was back in console when I had my steering wheel duct taped to a folding table because the clamps didn't work. And I use a seat now with Fanatec pedals and a Moza wheel.
Okay, very cool. Very nice.
I'm happy with it.
Let's see. All right, so a few years. How long have you been in Bobby's league?
Off and on since PS4.
Okay, cool. Very nice.
Yeah, we got a nice little history.
Wonderful. And Bobby, you will be retiring after next year. So your career is coming to an end after multiple wins and championships.
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
It'll be retirement from full time. I will still be part time here and there, and to run with these guys because I have such a good time with them.
Very cool. Bobby, what? How many races was the first half of this year?
Give me a second.
Adam.
14.
14 races. Okay. 14 races. What were some of the key tracks that we raced at?
Daytona, Michigan.
Excellent. And what series?
Truck series.
Truck series. I love that. I think that's what sold me on all this, was the fact that it was the truck series. Adam, you sponsored by anybody, or you just out there running for fun?
I just run it for fun. Ain't nobody. But now, when somebody decides to approach me about a sponsorship deal, I'm open for conversations. But until then, the only things that are on my truck are Scooby-Doo, because
What? How many wins did you have in the first 14 races?
I know at least 3. I want to say.
Okay.
Maybe
3 was correct.
Excellent.
Okay.
Good deal. Bobby, what are some of the key tracks that you guys will be headed to for segment 2?
Segment 2 will be the Xfinity series, and they just sent out the schedule, matter of fact, yesterday, and we're going Daytona, Atlanta, Texas, Rockingham, Nashville, Iowa, Vegas, and then to kick it off, All-Star Night and Throwback, North Wilkesboro.
That's a very competitive, very old school set of tracks to be hitting. What version of the Xfinity cars? Are you running current version, or are you running like an older model?
No, we are running the current version.
Okay.
And there's 20. It's going to be a 20 race season. So we start September 25th, and we won't end until March 4th.
Okay, cool. Good deal there. Let's see. What else? Bobby, how many wins you end up having in this first half here?
First half, none.
None. What the? And you won?
You
Martin Truex it to death.
Second race of the playoffs, I was North Wilkesboro, and I ended up winning there. And then I didn't win again until the season finale.
All right.
And we were at IRP, and Adam was glued to my back end. I was waiting for the old bump and run.
That's great. I love that. Very cool. Let's see here. Adam, with the tracks coming up, which ones are you excited about? Which ones are you scared about?
Anything a mile or under, I'm horrible at.
Okay.
So, yeah, on those. Anything a mile and a half or bigger seems to be my bread and butter. So I like the intermediates, the speedway, anything where you go really fast.
Fair enough. I can get behind that. Bobby, how about you? Which ones are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Nashville Fairgrounds, Pocono, Michigan.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
Bobby's a short track guy.
Yeah, I'm a short track guy to where about the size of Michigan.
Excellent.
And then after that, I'm like,
And I like the tracks where you need a set of basketballs, not a set of grapefruits.
I love it. All right. Well, did you guys get to catch anything from Dover today or no?
Yeah, I was watching it all day at work.
Nice. I had it on one computer screen while I was working on the other. So yeah, not. I don't mind the occasional Monday afternoon race. That's don't bother me.
I watched it on my cell phone.
Right? Yep. I heard that.
I got to listen to it on Sirius XM.
Oh, good deal. Good deal. All right. Bobby, where can everybody follow you at on social media?
Jeremy Clemens Fan 51 on Twitter and Facebook, Bobby Peters.
Excellent. And Adam, how about you?
On Twitter, I'm Scooby G. That's with 2 O's. And then Facebook, that I'm hard to find on there. Best way for people to find me on Facebook would probably be my Outlaws page that I run.
Cool.
That's Outlaws Sim Series.
Cool. Good deal. Well, guys,
it's been my little project that I've had going alongside Bobby's for a little while now.
Hey, nothing wrong with a little side fun project. Hence this podcast, so I can get behind that all day long. Guys, thank you so much. Congrats on the trophies and the hardware. I saw a picture of them; those are pretty sweet. And good luck once you guys get rolling here back in the fall.
Yeah, and thank you for sponsoring the league and all that.
Absolutely.
And if you guys want, Lap Traffic Podcast on Facebook and Twitter.
Excellent. Cool, guys. All right, man. Catch you guys later.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation. That is going to be a wrap for episode 310 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all at Lap Traffic PC. You can find it wherever you want. Make sure you tell your friends to go check it out as well. Huge thanks to Christian Rose, CJ LaPearl, Chad Harrington, Bobby and Adam from the iRacing League. I think I've got something lined up already next week, which I'm pretty excited about as well. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Tune in each and every week to the Lap Traffic Podcast. See ya.